Drinking enough water, which for most people, you know, how much water you need is based on your size and your activity level and what you do all day, and that's probably something you've already learned. But we were divinely made with an indicator already built in of whether or not we're having enough water, and that is the color of our urine. So if your urine is light yellow, then you have enough water, and if it's clear, you're probably just percolating along on even, you know, extra water, which is, it takes a lot of water. Yes, it is possible to drink too much water, but it's hard, and it's usually just associated with specific kinds of illnesses. It's not common. But this is an intervention. Sometimes this is the very first one that I start people out with, because unless they're truck drivers or police or people that don't have access to a potty all day long, this is a really easy one for lots of people to do, and it changes a whole bunch of things all at one time, sort of like walking. So if you get somebody walking, they suddenly have a lot more emotional energy and physical energy to use to be disciplined in the other areas. That's why I really like to start with it. You get the most bang for the buck. And I think the next slide's going to talk about that a little bit more. But so too is there a tremendous amount of bang for the buck from sleeping enough and drinking enough water. So once you get people doing those three things, they're like a different person. They've got a lot more zip and stamina and energy to try the next few things. You have somebody in a much better point. But we are going to talk in the next group, if you have somebody who doesn't want to do any of these things, how to move them along in the stages of change. My next prioritized item is just to increase the amount of vegetables and fruit that you eat every day. Not even to get people to quit eating things first, but to add in healthy things first, because it will be a lot easier to displace the unhealthy habits. A lot of people tell me, well, I try to eat healthy, I need to lose weight, but I really crave sweets. And just by adding in 2 fruits every day, most people stop craving sweets as much. People who are really hungry, who add 5 good fibery vegetables to their diet every day, have a lot more satiety than they had before, as well as not craving crunchy things and stuff like that. So if you get people on the do list, which is do walk, do sleep, do drink water, get those fruits and vegetables every day. More fruits and vegetables is really better. So especially vegetables, 10 a day is more. But just the hardest part of getting to 10 is probably getting from 1 or 2 or none to 5. And that, if you have 5 fruits and 2 vegetables, you're at 7. You're really only talking about adding a few more servings a day. But then next, reducing the meat and fat. This is straight out of, this isn't even out of the Genius work. This is from the government. Okay, so this is from myplate.gov. ChooseMyPlate.gov is the address, but you can Google it and get to it really easily. The 2010 Food Pyramid Guidelines became ChooseMyPlate.gov. We didn't get new guidelines with MyPlate. They just packaged them in a different way. So if you like the food pyramid, you can still use it. It's still available free online with printables and lots of good stuff. But Choose My Plate was just kind of an easier way to interpret it, because you look at that plate, half the plate is vegetables. That's what your plate should look like. Is that what your plate looks like? Then 1/4 of the plate is whole grains, and 1/4 of the plate is meat or protein. And then you have the little round cup that symbolizes milk or yogurt in that meal. So the guideline to reduce meat and fat is from the government, and they say 5 ounces of meat per day per person. That's for an adult, full-grown person. And a 5-ounce serving of meat is the size of a deck of cards per day. Some people are eating 2 or 3 or many more times over than that. So next is another do, and again, these are in priority order. I would work from the top of this list down with somebody who wanted to change their physical and mental health through their lifestyle, and that would be to add in foods that contain omega-3 fatty acids and to consider whether a supplement might be right for them. I resisted recommending omega-3 fatty acid supplements for a long, long time, but I've become convinced by the overwhelming stacking up of evidence and the endorsement by Temple Grandin, the endorsement by Therapeutic Lifestyle Change at Kansas University. So this recommendation is if you're already on omega-3 fatty acids or you want to take them, for most people, I think there's very little possibility of harm. Some people don't want to take them because they're vegan or vegetarian. I totally get that. This is just if you do want to. If you're going to take them, then you should be at a dose that can actually do you some good. And for most garden variety supplements, this is 2 times the amount in a daily dose on the bottle. Now, if you've got a really good one, like the triple strength one from some health food stores, I don't want to endorse a specific one, because I just use a garden variety one and I just take 2 doses. I take 1 dose in the morning and 1 dose in the evening. But you want to get 1,000 EPA and 500 DHA. So if you look at your bottle, you can do the math or have a friend who can do the math for you to know how many that is. And it might not come out to be, you might be a little over 1,000, but that's fine. But that's the minimum dose that you want to get to. And the other power food is fiber, because we've all been around people with constipated personalities and we don't want to be one, right? So fiber is a superfood, and those are my 2 favorite superfoods, omega-3 fatty acid and fiber. And the next couple are things that are especially supportive of people that are working against a mental illness or working with a mental illness, trying to recover and live a recovery, is to develop a support system. And all of us, everybody who said social worker, which was like 80% of you guys, already works with people to help activate their natural support system or develop a support system. And that is actually an intervention that Kansas University recommends for living healthy with mental illness. And then stimulating the pleasure center of your brain. And you know, there's quite a few pleasurable activities I did not list, knowing that I would be taped. But you know what they are, but here are a few that we can all talk about together at Clarity Child Guidance Center. Reading, service, hobbies. Did you know that helping other people stimulates your pleasure center of your brain? Y'all knew that? I think that's crazy. Helping other people, serving other people, stimulates the same part of your brain that chocolate does. That is incredible. We are well made. So a little goes a long way on the exercise. Because exercise is my #1 most favorite intervention for everybody, there are very few things that will do everybody some good. But this is one of them, and it doesn't take very much. Now, back to the choosemyplate.gov or the food pyramid. Our government encourages us, if we want to maintain our weight, just maintain, not lose weight, just maintain, about 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day of walking. To lose weight, 90 minutes. I think the 1 hour a day is if you've lost weight and you want to maintain weight. And then for the rest of us, if we've been the right weight forever, we didn't have to lose weight, 30 to 45 minutes. But you can do with a lot less. And the biggest benefits of exercise happen in the first 15 to 30 minutes of exercise, 15 or 20 minutes even. So big study in Taiwan, 400,000 adults, they found that just 15 minutes of gentle walking, kind of moderate walking, 6 days a week reduced the risk of death by 14% compared to those with no activity at all. Incredible, big study. Got a lot of press too. And here I have US guidelines are for 30 minutes. That goes up, like I said, to 90 minutes. But a lot of people will never exercise if the goal is for 30 minutes. So even if we do 10 minutes, that will start to change our blood lipids, our blood pressure, and our blood sugar, which is a change on the inside. So a walking program is probably not going to change the size of clothes that you wear, but it's going to change your sense of well-being and your outlook on life. And that one change makes all the others a little bit easier to do. Just to kind of go over a list of some of my favorite power foods. These are things that if you get these into your diet every day, it makes eating healthfully a lot easier. You kind of have a target to go to. And all of these foods, they don't have to be prepared at home, but they can be, and it certainly is cheaper to prepare them at home. And how I make it easier for my family is I don't have time every day for food preparation, just like you don't probably either. I do all of the food preparation on one afternoon of the weekend in about 4 hours, usually on Sunday, sometimes on Saturday, and I have all the bags of veggies and I don't cut the apples in advance, but I kind of have the count done and all the little yogurts and everything done, and then all the food prepped on Sunday to get through the week. Now, some people call that leftovers, but I call it planned overs, and once they're heated up, they're just like brand new. So omega-3 fatty acids in foods are probably the very best way to get it if you can do it, and the cold water fish have it hands down the most. So salmon is the one that we eat commonly, but also herring and sardines and all the other fatty fish. And this includes the cheapest kind of salmon, the salmon from a can. If you grew up in a family where your mom made that, and my mom made it into salmon croquettes, I think that tastes better than the best. I'm just a cheap eater. So you don't have to spend a ton of money to get the omega-3 fatty acids. Walnuts are the nuts that have the most, but other nuts have some, and eggs have some, and all whole grains have some. Most oils have some. So you can put together quite a bit in your diet, but some of the things, it's a fat. So if you eat a lot of things like eggs and mayonnaise and oil, that's not good for you, and that's why I think a supplement is worth looking into. All vegetables eaten without added fat is a superfood. Every single vegetable brings something to the table, whether it's to help our immune system, to help us feel full, to clean out our gut. They all bring amazing power to the table. And when you eat every single color of vegetable throughout the week, then you're getting the benefit of every single one of those different micronutrients that are in the veggies. Again, just like veggies, all fruits eaten in their natural state. And there's every week we hear something new about how wonderful fruits and vegetables are. And I have berries and apples being maybe even a little bit more powerful than the others, but really what you should be eating is the thing that's cheap at the grocery store, because that's the thing that's in season. So right now it's cantaloupe and watermelon, and we're moving into the apple. You can almost get apples cheap at all times of the year because we get food from all around. But if you want to eat more locally, then that's even better. You're going to be getting things in their natural season, and that's when they're going to be the least expensive. Whole grains, but we have to really look out. I'm not talking about whole grain flour, but the actual grain. So a grain that you can see, like a grain of brown rice or a grain of wheat or a grain of barley, things that are actual in their natural state. Not that whole grain flour is bad, but as a superfood, I'm talking about the actual grain. Beans and lentils for every reason. Beans are like a little packet of every single thing you need for nutrition: carbohydrates, protein, fiber, great for you. And then there's my words on breakfast cereal.